What you need to know about voluntary police interviews, 10 common questions answered. Being asked to attend a police interview under caution as a volunteer is more common than you might think. So in this post, I am going to answer 10 very common questions about voluntary police interviews under caution. These are: 1. What is a voluntary police interview? 2. How do the police contact you for a voluntary police interview? 3. Why do the police ask you to attend a voluntary police interview by arrangement rather than just go and look for you and arrest you? 4. What happens if you don't attend a voluntary police interview? 5. Do your rights as a volunteer differ if you were arrested instead? 6. Can you be arrested when you attend for a voluntary police interview? 7. Why do the police arrest you at the police station even if you turned up as a volunteer? 8. Should you bring your lawyer with you to the police station for that voluntary police interview? 9. What happens in the police interview under caution? And 10. What are the possible outcomes following a voluntary police interview? And always feel free to comment, like and share. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and follow for more. The first question: what is a voluntary police interview? Simply put, a voluntary police interview is attending a police interview under caution as a volunteer by arrangement rather than being arrested. Voluntary police interviews usually take place at the police station, but they can also take place at your home address or place of work, or even in council-owned offices. The common features of a voluntary police interview wherever it takes place are: A. Attendance is by arrangement as a volunteer as part of a police investigation into a potential crime they suspect you of committing. And B. That interview under caution is being recorded, either audio only or even audio and visually. Police Code C, the police rulebooks, defines an interview as the questioning of a person regarding their involvement or suspected involvement in a criminal offence or offences which under paragraph 10.1 must be carried out under caution. This means the police consider you as a suspect, not simply as a witness of a crime. So don't let the word voluntary or volunteer mislead you. Attending as a volunteer for an interview under caution by arrangement is still a formal and serious police investigative process, not a friendly chat down the local pub with your mates. It will involve an interview under caution, just like if you were arrested and then taken to the police station for an interview as a arrested person. And don't assume by cooperating with the police in a voluntary police interview and talking to the police, you will automatically be treated favourably and more leniently. The second question is: how do the police contact you for a voluntary police interview? Usually the police will try to arrange a voluntary police interview by A. Calling you if they have your number, and you'll be surprised how easy it is to get your phone number. B. Sending a letter asking you to attend a voluntary police interview via post. Or C. Leaving a note at your home address to call them. There are a couple of do's and don'ts when you are contacted to attend a police interview by arrangement. Here are the do's. Do treat the invitation seriously. As said before, this is a formal legal process. Do contact your lawyer immediately. Do ask your lawyer to check with the police about the potential consequences of not attending a voluntary police interview. And here are a couple of don'ts. Don't assume you can handle the police interview under caution by arrangement alone without legal advice. Legal advice is therefore crucial. Don't start offering unnecessary information in person or by phone or through an exchange of messages with the police while arranging that voluntary police interview. Information even prior to the police attendance can and will be used against you if it helps the police case. That's why it is always best to let your lawyer do the contacting. The third question: why do the police ask you to attend a voluntary police interview by arrangement rather than just go and look for you to arrest you? There are many reasons, but let me offer 3. 1. While the police have received a complaint about you, they may not have enough evidence to make out reasonable grounds for suspicion to arrest you for a crime, so they will invite you to a voluntary police interview. 2. Even if reasonable grounds for suspicion criteria is met for an arrest, The police may not be able to satisfy the second grounds for an arrest, which is the necessity criteria to arrest you. Perhaps that is because you agree to attend the police interview under caution by arrangement. And 3, for police, the voluntary police interview are more cost effective and time efficient than to find you, arrest you, detain you in a police cell, and then wait for your lawyer to attend. And from your point of view, if you think about it, attending a date and a time at the police station for a voluntary police interview by arrangement is less embarrassing and potentially less traumatic than a knock on your door and being arrested among family and friends in the early hours. Question 4. What happens if you don't attend a voluntary police interview? Let's just say you don't want to attend a voluntary police interview under caution by arrangement. What could the police do next? Well, the police have 2 options. Option 1, to go looking for you, to arrest you. And option 2, do nothing because they can do nothing. Which option the police takes depends on 2 factors, and it's all to do with whether the arrest conditions have been satisfied. A, can the police satisfy reasonable grounds for suspicion to arrest you for a crime? There needs to be some evidence or intelligence for that to be met. And B, can the police satisfy the necessity criteria to arrest you? There needs to be some evidence or intelligence for that condition to be met. While the police often use voluntary police interviews to save time, police resources and energy to avoid all the bureaucracy and hassle of arresting you, let me be clear, a refusal to attend a voluntary police interview isn't risk-free. It may prompt the police to escalate the situation to arrest you. This is why having your lawyer is important. Your lawyer can make contact with the police constable investigating the case on your behalf to help you understand your position and your options, whether to attend as a volunteer or to ignore the police request to attend the voluntary police interview under caution by arrangement. Effective and experienced lawyers will be able to clarify with the police whether your refusal to attend as a volunteer would likely lead to your arrest, or whether the police might drop the matter altogether without the need for an interview under caution. If you know how the police are thinking, you will be legally advised by your lawyer, and then you can make the call whether to attend the voluntary police interview or not. But here is a quick rundown of some of the main pros and cons of attending a voluntary police interview. The pros are these. You might resolve the matter quickly, especially if you've done nothing wrong and you have a strong defense. It demonstrates your cooperation with the police investigation, which you might want to know about, which in turn may be seen in a good light by the police, which might treat you with kids' gloves and decide on an out-of-court disposal. And the police won't have to look for you and arrest you, which really can pee off the police. And if they can, they will go hard on you as a result. But the main con of attending a voluntary police interview is this. You risk saying something that could harm you and add to the police case against you, as a voluntary police interview is an evidence gathering exercise, and the police may not have enough evidence to arrest you or even to charge you. Question 5. Do your rights as a volunteer differ if you were arrested instead? The answer is no. The same rights apply. The key ones are the right to free and independent legal advice, so use it, and the right to a copy of the police code of practice, the police rulebook. But there's a huge difference between being arrested and attending a police interview under caution by arrangement as a volunteer. And 2 are mentioned here. 1, if you're arrested, you're taken into police custody and your movements are controlled by the police from your arrest to the police station to eventual release, hopefully. And 2, but as a volunteer, you are free to leave the police station anytime unless the police decide to arrest you. However, because the stakes are high, it's essential for you to treat a voluntary police interview in the same way with the same seriousness as if you were arrested. Question 6. Can you be arrested when you attend a voluntary police interview? Absolutely yes. While a voluntary police interview means you are free to leave at any time, the police may still arrest you during or after the police interview. Question 7. Why do the police arrest you even if you've turned up as a volunteer? If you attend a voluntary police interview by arrangement, it's not automatically the case you will be arrested, but it's always a possibility. The police might decide to arrest you as soon as you walk through the door of a police station, or during the interview under caution, or even after the police interview. Let me give you 6 possible reasons for arrest. 1, they believe you are about to leave and they need to ensure you remain available for questioning. 2, new evidence has suddenly come to light, which justifies arrest. 3, they think an arrest is needed to protect others or prevent harm. 4, they believe an arrest is now necessary to progress their investigations. 5, they want to now carry out a house search or arrest others at large. They don't want you to interfere with their police investigations, e.g. those witnesses or co-suspects. 6, they want to take fingerprints, DNA samples or photographs which can't be done voluntarily. This is why it's critical to have your lawyer present, not just to advise you during the police interview under caution, but also to check with the police beforehand whether you will be arrested at the police station if you attend by arrangement. In my experience, the more serious the offence, the likelihood of at least the threat of arrest if you turn up and then want to leave. The police want to get a police interview under caution on record, your account on record at the very least. Question 8. Should you bring your lawyer with you to the police station for a voluntary police interview? Absolutely yes. Always contact your lawyer, the one you trust, before attending. Under PACE Code C, you have a right to legal advice and it's free for voluntary police interviews. Your lawyer will ensure you understand 10 points. 1, you understand the allegation. 2, explain the offence that you're suspected of. 3, whether the police have evidence of your wrongdoing. 4, the strengths and weaknesses of the case against you. 5, take your instructions. 6, advise you whether you have a defence. 7, explain to you the meaning of the caution. 8, explain that you have a right to remain silent in the police interview. 9, that silence may lead to an adverse inference. And 10, crucially, advise you whether to answer police questions or to remain silent or just say no comment to all the police questions. For example, your lawyer might advise you to remain silent if they believe it is in your best interests. Or your lawyer might advise you that it's in your best interest to answer police questions. And remember, it's your call whether to talk or not to talk to the police at the end of the day. And never ever forget, the whole point of a police interview under caution is an evidence gathering exercise. Question 9. What happens in the police interview under caution? Just like if you were arrested, at the beginning of the police interview, you will be cautioned. The caution states this: you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention when questioned something you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. And I've made a separate post explaining the 3 parts to the caution. And question 10, what are the possible outcomes of a voluntary police interview? After a voluntary police interview, several outcomes are possible, but let me mention 4. 1, no further action. NFA. If the police believe there is insufficient evidence, the case might be closed with no further action. Great news. 2, out of court disposal. In some cases, the matter could be resolved without prosecution. This might involve a caution, a conditional caution, or some form of resolution. 3, charges. If the police think there is enough evidence, you could be charged with an offence or 2. This would lead to a court hearing date. And 4, further investigations. The police might continue their investigations and contact you later with their decision. Your lawyer can help you understand the likely outcome and even press your case with the police for the best outcome, and that might be no further action. So in conclusion, a voluntary police interview might sound less intimidating than being arrested, but it can have the same serious consequences. Always protect yourself by seeking expert legal advice from a lawyer you trust. So if you've been invited to attend a voluntary police interview under caution by arrangement, take a moment to breathe, call your lawyer, and if you go prepared. It's not just about cooperating, it's about safeguarding your future. Feel free to comment and subscribe and follow for more.